What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Devil's Details Diecast Wastelands series. Today we got a pretty fun build planned. Just when you think you're out of ideas, something pops into your head. At least for me anyway, and here we are back at the bench. So, Mike over at Mike's Mods and Customs was generous enough to send a care package over with 3 van castings minus the wheels because he just wanted the real riders, and I'm always a sucker for van castings because they're very usable for Gaslands and Wastelands Customs, and also who doesn't love a van. And I had this leftover Lesney tow truck rear end from the recent Diecast Mafia wrecker build, and thought I'd put both of them together. So we're going to go ahead and cut the van basically as you see it here to the back of this and turn this van into a flatbed. And then my other buddy over at Flying Valiant, Chuck, got a new 3D printer, and we've been going back and forth on some prints that I wanted. And I told him I wanted a bunch of birds, and probably, as you can tell from the title of the video, he printed me out a whole mess of birds. So we are going to go ahead and build the Birdman of the Badlands. So I take it as this guy is a collector of birds, kind of like the Birdman of Alcatraz, even though he only did canaries. That was my inspiration for this build. So this guy is going to be basically a bird seller, bird trader. I guess birds in the post-apocalyptic world could be dual purpose. They could be food. They could be trained to send messages. They could be alarms, I guess. If you had a bird on your vehicle and somebody was approaching, it could squawk or chirp or whatever. You could send it into a mine, much like the coal miners did with canaries. And if it died, then you would know that there was poison gas in there. A lot of different reasons to keep a bird in the post-apocalyptic world. So, got a lot of painting to do on these, and a lot of scratch building to make all the cages and everything. So we're going to try to keep you as updated as possible. I know a lot of my videos I don't show the actual build process, and that's just because I keep going and going, but I'm going to try to go ahead and show you a little more of the build process for this video, because it will be pretty intense. And without further ado, here we go. Alright, so the long and the short of the van is nothing I planned out worked with the tow truck bed. I just couldn't get the wheels to line up and everything else. So what I ended up doing was just cutting off the top half of the van itself to make kind of a pickup truck there. As you can see the seam where I had cut off the original piece. I'll just fill that in with some super glue and baking soda. I did glue it all back together into one piece, so we do have one piece. I might not even hide the seams. It is Wastelands, so it doesn't really matter if there's a seam there, but everything else does work. We got some rolling tires here, so that's all good. So what I'm going to do is just build off on the back of this. I'm going to build a platform on here, build something to close up the back, and we're going to build off of this for our Birdman build. So just wanted to catch you up on that and save you the drama of me cutting and fitting and swearing and trying to get the back piece to work from the tow truck. Just wasn't gonna work well. I might use it for a trailer to add on to the back of this. We'll see how big the bird cages go. So We'll only get to that point when I get to building the cages. So stick around for that, and we'll show you how we do that. Alright, so here we are. I've gone ahead and built the bird coop, or bird holder if you will. This is just some styrene, and if you've watched any of my Wastelands builds, you know I get these at the dollar store. They're just pencil holders. They also have a long square one. This is just the one I had. Makes excellent mesh. So this is going to go on the back here. Just needs a little bit more fine tuning, and of course I'm going to spray paint it black to start out with. I made the platform here out of just some tongue depressors. These are already weathered. I had them for another project, I guess, one of my diorama projects. So I cut them square and glued them on. I purposely went over on the back, because if you look up any kind of like chicken carriers, they're always way overloaded. I'll probably throw a couple supports off the back end, you know, at an angle to support that back end there. And I am kind of still toying with the idea of bringing a box over the top of the cab area. I ran out of this size styrene, the smaller scale squares. I did want to extend this over the top, but I only have, yeah, even that's too big. I only have this size, this piece left. And to make it correctly, I would have to, I wouldn't have enough to square it out and build it 3D. So I do have some round styrene I could do it with, and I do have a little bit bigger square, but I don't know. We'll see. I might have some basswood or balsa wood of the same dimension of this, but I was also thinking of maybe just putting a wing, no pun intended, on the front, or maybe some kind of defense or a gun turret or something. I mean, most of these guys that are vendors don't get too much trouble because they are serving a purpose in the Wastelands, and you know, even the bad guys are still buying stuff from them, so I don't think they need too much defense. And with such a huge box on the back, it might be beneficial to have an air deflector on the front to save on precious gas. So I don't know, we'll see what we come up with for the front, but right now I still have to come up with some kind of door for the back. Obviously he needs to get the birds out. I may also mock up some fake doors on the sides, because obviously he doesn't want to open the whole back and have all the birds fly out. So still a work in progress, but I wanted to give you guys an update, since you guys are always saying I don't give enough updates on my Wastelands builds. So there you are. There's an update. Stick around. Talk about something to make your eyes go crooked. I got the birds together, and you can see how tiny they are compared to a 1/64th wheel, especially this last strand. So basically what I did was just glue them onto a little bit of piano wire here. I'm going to shoot them all with gray primer and then just paint them individually. I'm not going to obviously get into details because they're going to be all hidden behind the mesh caging, but I'll just paint them some different colors just so they stand out a little bit inside the cage. But I wanted to show you guys the different variety of birds we have. We have some little songbirds, we have some crows, some unidentifiable birds, and those are the ones that are going to go into the mesh cages and hopefully fill up the back of the truck. I do have more if I need more. I'm just going to start with these and see how they go, and I'll show you them before I put them in. So My eyes are hurting, and let's get to painting. And if you remember, this is what we started with. A Hot Wheels Star Wars Chevy van, minus the wheels. A Matchbox Lesney, I don't know what number it is. Matchbox Series number, I don't know, I can't even read it. Dodge Wreck truck. Base. A whole bunch of flocking birds. And a whole lot of imagination. And here's what we came up with. And here it is, folks. The Birdman of the Wastelands. Whew! What an intense build this was. A lot of it from scratch, as you saw in the build video. And back it up a little bit here. Usually I don't do the turntable for the Wastelands builds, but I figured with the amount of work that went into this one, I'd throw it up here on the turntable. What's to say about it that you haven't seen already? Of course, we have the bird cages. See if I can get a light on here. Here we go. We have the bird cages stuffed with all different kinds of birds. Nothing really specific, as I kind of just painted them what I thought might be good to see through the cage. Unfortunately, they're not very see-through, other than the colors. Got some yellow canaries up front. We got a couple of white doves, a couple of cardinals, some crows, some little bluebirds. Of course, we have an obligatory skull on the front for the Wastelands, which is a bird skull, and we have a little guard cat in the front. Cat kind of keeps everything in line. For the feathers, I just took some paper towel and just kind of shredded it between my fingers and stuck it with some glue in some spots. I toyed with leaving the back open. In hindsight, maybe I should have, because then you could see the birds inside, but the hinge system I came up with was just really bulky, and I didn't really like the way it looked. So I did glue it on there, but it is removable. So if somebody wins it on eBay, they can just take the back off and leave it open. I also thought about maybe putting a mesh back on there so you could see it. But the mesh really kind of, as you can tell, kind of covers up everything. And never thought I'd be saying this, but I did weather it with bird shit, which was actually kind of fun. Being in New England and being surrounded by seacoast, you see a lot of bird shit from the seagulls, so that was a pretty good reference. I hand painted the Chevy van just with some blue. I like the hand painting look. Just kind of ties in with the Gaslands or Wastelands look. Again, not a lot of defense on this because of the fact that he is a vendor, and vendors don't usually take a lot of crap in the Wastelands because they are needed by everybody in the Wastelands, of course, for their goods. Sometimes they are victims of robberies, but they have to take it upon themselves to protect themselves, so they are usually all armed, at least in my world. So there we have it, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I showed more of the build like that you guys are liking. Again, I wish the birds showed a little bit more through, but I think everybody kind of gets the idea. And if you look close enough inside, you can see, you know, that there are birds in there. So until the next one, stick around for some glamour shots, and be well.